So today I'm going to share with you the work that we did of linking data in dbGAP using PhenX measures. Okay, so first a few introductions. So PhenX is a catalog of recommended standard measures for phenotype and environmental exposures for use in biomedical research. So it's being recommended in more than 200 NIH funding opportunity announcements. And the dbGAP is a NIH data repository for studies with genotype data. So here is the homepage for PhenX, and you can browse the measures in the research domains. We also have a special collection. You can also search the measure by searching the keywords. So PhenX has a good coverage of the research domains. So so we have phenotypes. We also have environmental exposures. We have behavioral sciences like the alcohol, tobacco, and other substances. We have nutrition and dietary. We have physical activities and fitness. And for the social science studies in ICPSR, we also have the psychosocial research domain and the social environment. So, the PhenX include the protocols by a set of criteria. So the criteria is defined by the steering committee. So often we got feedback saying that in my field of research, I've got this latest and greatest protocols. Why can I find it here? And so the criteria, so it needs to be well established and validated. So here are the some NIH institutes that have come to us for deeper coverage in the research areas. So we have special collections for substance abuse and addiction, for tobacco regulatory science, and mental health research, and sickle cell disease. Okay, so here is the page. So on the PhenX protocols. So I just want to point out that we collect a lot of metadata about the protocols. So here, the protocol is like the data collection forms of CRF in other projects. So, so we collect things like the source of the protocols and some special instructions. So, so the forms in the protocol has been represented in many CDE repositories. So as Christoph and Liz mentioned this morning, it's one of the NIH CDE repository projects. So you can also find the protocols in CADSR thanks to Denise and her team. So you can find them by browsing under the PhenX context. You can also search. So each protocol has the label and the unique IDs and the name of the forms. Okay, so PhenX form is also in REDCap. So this is so they track the use of the forms. So currently there are more than 200 PhenX protocols has been used in the REDCap. So we list the protocol ID by the number of imported. So currently the stats we have 48 REDCap institutes using that. Okay, so we have been collaborating with dbGAP for quite some time. So the goal for the collaboration is to use PhenX to identify dbGAP study, the common data across the studies for cross-study analysis. So we are taking several approach. So first, so the goal for PhenX is really at the study design phase, if you can incorporate that, so it will eliminate the need for data harmonization down the road. But it takes time. So in the meantime, we are also doing mapping for existing studies. So for new study submissions, so investigator can identify PhenX as the variable source in the data submission packet. So I can show you here. So this is the dbGAP data submission packet. And among the many data fields, one of them, which is not required, has you can identify the source for the variable. So then for the existing studies, so so that's where our collaboration is, link the study by variable mapping. So PhenX, we have 24 research domains. Each domain has around 15 measures, and each measure can have one or more protocols. And to date, we have more than 23,000 of variables. And dbGAP is continue to grow, and currently they have 800, more than 800 studies and a lot of variables. So, so some definitions. So in PhenX, the domain is a topical areas with unifying things like psychiatric, and the measure is a certain characteristic of a subject, like depression here. And the protocol is really the standard procedure to collecting the data. So in this case, we have one protocol for children and one protocol for adults. And the variables are the data elements. So we have the protocol IDs in front of the keywords in the variable name. So so far, so this mapping collaboration is ongoing. So for the latest delivery, so I'm going to show. Oops. There. So I'm going to show you how to find the mapping results, both in dbGAP and PhenX, and you can find them both by browsing and by search. Okay. So here's dbGAP. Here is the advanced search by filter. They also have a new facet browser here. So if you click here, it will take you to the facet browsing. So the default is at the study tab. So if you click the variable tab, you can see they have added a common data element facet here. So to date, there are more than 9,000 variables in dbGAP that map to PhenX variables or CDEs. And then, so just to demonstrate, if you search alcohol without just as keywords only, you get a lot of returns. And then if you select the variable filters, and you have a more specific set. And then if you add the PhenX filters in the advanced search, so currently there are more than 200 variables from 18 studies that map to PhenX CDEs. So if you click the variable here, it will take you to a variable page in dbGAP. And in the variable page, there is a CDE section. So if you click on PhenX, so this is the mapping. So the mapping, we have 3 different levels. So if you click here, it will provide definitions of mapping levels. So this link will take you to the PhenX toolkit, and here the link is it will take you to the other dbGAP variables mapped to the same PhenX variables. So if you click on the different values, so it provides definition for 3 levels. So the identical is really reserved for prospective use of PhenX protocols. And the comparable is you can compare them either directly or after some transformations. And related, we use that, so sometimes, although the concept is the same, but for bioassays, it's really critical which assay method or kit that you have used. So by label them related, so it's just to remind the investigator you need to look into that before you use the data. So here, so if you click the link variables in the previous page, it takes you to the 14 variables linked to the same PhenX CDE. That's from the 7 studies. Okay, so the same results can be found in the PhenX toolkit. So at the protocol page, so next to the protocol section, we also have a variables section. If you click here, you can export the variable. So here we show the variable information, and if there's a mapping, we have a link. Click that will take you to all the dbGAP variables that map to the variables. Otherwise, we have a non-applicable here. So you can also search for mapping. So under search dbGAP variable mapping. So I used an example of, I think, tobacco. So it returns 60. So here you can export the results. So here is the PhenX variable. So we have unique identifiers for all the domain measure protocol and variables. So so here are the dbGAP study name and the dbGAP variable ID. Okay, so so this result includes curated high quality linkages. So not all related variables may be identified here. So also both PhenX and dbGAP continues to grow. So in our plan, we have included routine updates. So future development, so we plan to incorporate some additional relevant standards such as LOINC and MeSH to increase interoperability, and we would like to hear from the user feedback on how to increase our usability. So, so one thing that we hear often is they want to see its link to the data repository. So if you have any suggestions or comments, we would love to hear that. So the acknowledgement, so we have the RTI team, so Carol Hamilton is the PI. So we have Mark Kimura and Mike Fiolo at the dbGAP team. Aaron at NHGRI is our project scientist, and we're funded by NHGRI with co-funding from others. Thank you.
Let me bring up people at that question. Can you say a bit about how you went about classifying the dbGAP data variables between comparable? Well, you excluded identical. You said that was prospective, but between comparable and related. Can you say a little bit about that process?
Yeah. So in current version, if the data is collected by bioassay protocols, we label them as related bioassay.
Okay. So, but and other things are how far does comparable extend? Because you can have different wordings of the same question.
Right. So it's really the same concept. So because in dbGAP, we don't get the values of the entity. So it's not the entities, but the concept. So example, it's birth year and age. The weight is in different units. So yeah, comparable if you can combine this directly.
That's human decided?
That's
Human expert?